Good evening and welcome to Shoe Cabinet TV, and this is episode number 17. And this is New Year, New You. And we're going to have a little conversation and a little discussion about some new shoes for our new year. Now, I know a lot of people, and I've already started seeing them out and about. Usually in January is the New Year's resolution about taking people. They're wanting to be more serious with their health and starting to walk and exercise and go to the gym. And it's interesting because I've already started to see people running, and because the weather's been a little nicer during the day, and they're starting to exercise. But I need to share with you, because a lot of the individuals I'm already seeing that are out and about running, I can already see that they probably drug the shoes out of their closet that have been in there for several years, and they're a little worn. And as I'm watching them run down the street or at the gym work out, I'm noticing that the stability isn't there, which means February, March, and April that our local podiatrists and orthopedic are going to be overwhelmed, just like every year, with people having foot and ankle and knee issues because their shoes are not appropriate for what they're doing. So this is a real simple conversation. If I'm going to be running on the treadmill, I am not going to want to put this shoe on me and run on the treadmill doing 4 miles an hour. Basically, when you don't have the right tennis shoe on, it's the same analogy. So would I want to put this on and go running on the treadmill for 2 hours? No. I would want to get a shoe that's nice and supportive when I'm running on the treadmill. So if you're bringing that shoe out that maybe you've been wearing for the last 3 or 4 years, and you're like, oh, it's a tennis shoe, it doesn't make a difference. Well, if in 6 to 8 weeks you're not at a podiatrist or orthopedic or your primary care professional because you've got some aches and pains, good for you. But for most people, you need to have the right product on when you start doing your new workout. This is a New Balance, and this product, this is called a 1080. And something, and I know I've talked about this a little bit, but if you're doing a treadmill or the street, your shoe, this is one that you can do both, especially on a treadmill. You see how it's a little flared on the side? This is to help you so that when you're on the treadmill, because for most people, there are those exceptions that can truly run on a treadmill, but for most people, they're heavy heel strike. You need that little flare so that your ankle doesn't go side to side when you're running or fast walking on the treadmill. So this is a great product when you're doing a treadmill or if you're out on a surface street, because there's not a lot on the bottom of the shoe in order for the rocks and pebbles to get stuck in there and to cause you to lose your stability. Now, for those that are doing elliptical training or on Zumba, you need to have something that has some flex at the forefoot. And this is actually designed for spin Zumba. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it actually has like a pivot, because when you do Zumba and or spinning or elliptical, you tend to be at a flex position like this. So you put a lot of that energy right underneath the ball of your foot. And this is actually designed specifically to help, so it takes some of that pressure, and more specifically with Zumba, because you do a lot of pivoting when you're dancing, and this will help so that you can have that gliding motion. If you wear a shoe that's really contacting the ground when you're doing Zumba, you're going to actually cause long-term potentially knee problems, because your foot's going to stick and it's going to cause you to jar a little bit. So come in and we can fit you to the appropriate product, because this is a great one for Zumba, elliptical, and the spinner. Another product, this is a great little shoe, nice and flat. This you could do running, fast walking. Another thing that I want to talk about is socks. And I know it sounds funny, but you're seeing it a lot around, and I see it in the different facilities. When individuals are working out, they actually are putting the sleeves on to help not only during exercise, but this happens to be a compression sock also, but when you're post-recovery. And you'll see a lot of the athletes that are around that will actually have either of these on either during training or after training to help with your recovery, because it actually helps the blood flow. So that way, after you're done exercising, you don't get those leg cramps. Another thing, when you're doing a lot of walking, and if you have a foot that tends to roll in a little bit, come in and get fitted here at Elias Shoes. We have a lot of inserts, and I know on our previous episodes we've talked about, and those that have come in the last couple of weeks, you guys, it's arch support and heel cup. So I know that you guys are hearing me because you're actually coming in and you're saying, I want one of those arch support heel cup shoes. So I appreciate that you're taking that to heart, because it is very important to have arch support and to have a heel cup even when you're exercising. So if you notice when you're watching people walk, maybe have someone watch you walk and see if you're starting to kind of go in a little bit with your feet. Come in and we'll help give you a gait assessment to know whether or not you would truly benefit from an insert. Another thing is, when you're done exercising and you're putting all that energy into your body to really make some new changes, after you're done working out, your after shoe, your everyday shoe, should be just as good as what you're doing when you actually work out. So again, I know I've just said it, coming in, getting a shoe, arch support, and heel cup will help benefit, so that after you're done working out, your tendency to get Achilles tendonitis or to get a hamstring or to get a shin splint will be less, because you're still wearing a supportive shoe. Another product that's really good after recovery or when you're leaving the gym is, and I've seen this often, is they'll pop on your socks and then put on your Birkenstock. Again, arch support and heel cup, great combination. So when you're thinking about starting the new exercise plan for this next year, we also have weight training shoes, which are a little bit of flatter shoe, because when you are weight training, you want to be a little bit lower. But again, you want to make sure that when you are weight training and you're putting all that energy on your feet, that you keep your knees from rolling in. And sometimes having a supportive shoe will help with that, so that your ankles and your knees stay in alignment. We have a lot of options, from regular medium widths, and we actually have for the women narrow widths. But on the other end of it, I can go wide, double wide. Some of the brands, actually, I can get this one. This happens to be a New Balance. This is a 990. This product actually comes in a 6 wide. So if you need that wider shoe, come in and we will size you and fit you to make sure that when you're making some of those lifestyle and health goals, that the shoe that you put on your foot can help so that you don't have an injury. Because if you do have an injury, sometimes it can, the doctor may say, stay off of your feet for 4, 6, 8 weeks, depending on what the injury is. If you start with a good product, when you're making those health changes and goals, it will only facilitate so that you can really make those new changes and have a positive. Also, another thing is, when you're at home, most of the doctors will tell you don't go walk around barefoot. This is another product. This happens to be by Power Step. There's no bend, which a lot of the podiatrists and orthopedic will also recommend as a no bend shoe, but it actually has the arch built in. So we have this product for both men and women. So that's another option that you can do. So when you're working out, and then after working out, just your casual, but also when you're home, you need to consider what product you put on your feet. And this, again, this came from a guest this last 2 weeks ago that came in and said, you know what, the new year's coming and we're going to start working out. I need to be fit for a new shoe. So come on in to Elias Shoes. We are located in Murrieta, California. This is episode number 17. And I look forward to seeing you for episode number 18. Thank you, and let's have an amazing new year with no injuries.